I moved to Sycamore Hills, expecting quiet mornings, coffee on my dock, and the soft splash of fish jumping in the lake. That was the dream. After 30 years as a property lawyer in Chicago, I was burnt out. A brutal divorce, a cold condo with too many memories, and grown kids who barely called, yeah. I was done. So I bought a modest but beautiful lakefront home in this so-called tight-knit community, hoping I could finally enjoy the stillness I'd missed for decades. I wasn't looking for drama. I just wanted to fish, read, and maybe learn how to use a grill without setting the deck on fire. I should have known peace was too much to ask for the moment I met Madeline Crane. Madeline was the HOA president, early 60s, always in pastel suits, heels that clicked like a warning, and a frozen smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She introduced herself the day I moved in uninvited, clipboard in hand, lecturing me about shrub height regulations while the movers were still carrying my couch inside. She eyed my fishing rods strapped to the back of my truck like I'd rolled in with a meth lab. The lake is a shared resource, she warned, tapping her pen like a gavel. We discourage unsanctioned recreational use. I thought she was being dramatic. The real estate agent had told me fishing was allowed, encouraged, even. The glossy brochure for Sycamore Hills boasted scenic lakeside relaxation and showed a family casting lines off a pier. Still, I nodded politely and hoped that would be the last I'd hear from her. It wasn't. Every Saturday morning, I'd walk to my dock just before sunrise with my thermos, tackle box, and my dad's old rod. I wasn't loud. I wasn't leaving trash. I was minding my own business. That didn't stop Madeline from randomly showing up, always with some new complaint. First, it was that my lawn edging didn't meet the HOA's visual standard. Then it was a warning about excessive mailbox personalization because I had a brass number plate. But the real trouble started 3 weeks ago when she stormed down the path with two HOA enforcers, Dave and Leonard, men who looked like they enjoyed writing tickets more than breathing. "You are in violation," she snapped, pointing at my fishing rod like it was a firearm. As of last month, all fishing has been prohibited under Article 6, Section 2 of the revised HOA rules. I blinked. That wasn't in the regulations when I bought this place. Well, it is now. And as of today, you've earned a $500 fine. Continued violations will result in legal action, including liens. I couldn't help it. I laughed. For fishing, you're going to put a lien on my property over a base? Madeline's expression didn't change. We take community standards very seriously. My hands were shaking, not with fear, but fury. I'd spent my entire career defending homeowners against predatory HOAs. I'd seen all the tricks, arbitrary rule changes, intimidation, fake votes, but I never thought I'd be on the receiving end. I should have packed up. I should have walked away. But I didn't. Instead, I calmly took my phone from my shirt pocket, already recording. Old habits die hard. That night, I read every word of the HOA charter. Turns out, for any amendment to become binding, it required a 70% vote from homeowners. No one had voted. No email, no notice, nothing. The next morning, I checked my inbox, my mail, even my spam folder. Nothing. They never notified us. I wasn't the only one. I walked across the street to chat with Don, a retired firefighter. He shook his head when I told him. Same thing happened to Cheryl down the road. Got fined for planting lavender. Madeline said it attracted too many bees over the next few days. I spoke with over a dozen neighbors. Everyone had a story. Irene, who was fined for installing solar panels after receiving written approval. Marcus, a single dad, penalized for his kids' bikes being left outside overnight. None of this felt like community regulation. It felt like control. Then came the second letter, a $1,000 fine, threat of lien, and a note at the bottom. If you cannot abide by our standards, perhaps Sycamore Hills is not the right place for you. That's when the gloves came off. I wrote a formal demand for documentation proof of homeowner vote, proof of notification, and confirmation that the HOA had jurisdiction over the lake. I sent it via certified mail, CC'd every board member. I also contacted the county records office. And that's when the whole charade started unraveling. Turns out, the lake wasn't even HOA property. According to a public agreement from 2005, the lake was technically city-owned and maintained, with open access for residents. The HOA had landscaping rights, nothing more. Madeline had no authority to ban fishing, and certainly no authority to fine me for it. I wasn't done. I filed a complaint with the state's HOA Oversight Board. I compiled testimonies from neighbors, copies of threatening letters, evidence of procedural violations. My sister, a journalist in Denver, helped me shape it all into a formal packet. She also started sniffing around. Turns out, this wasn't Madeline's first reign of petty tyranny. One of the HOA board members, Alan, showed up at my door 2 days later, pale and sweating. "I can't stay quiet anymore," he said. He handed me a flash drive, meeting recordings, emails, vote logs. All of it showed Madeline had been bypassing procedures, editing minutes, inventing votes. That was the turning point. I launched a petition for a special HOA meeting. According to the bylaws, if 25% of homeowners requested it, the board was required to hold a vote. Within 5 days, I had over 50 signatures. The pressure mounted. Madeline tried to stall, then called an emergency meeting herself to address misinformation. She framed me as a disruptive newcomer, trying to destroy community values. But this time, I wasn't alone. Over 100 residents packed into the community center. I presented everything: emails, recordings, city documents, Alan's flash drive. I played the doc recording where she admitted the fishing ban wasn't voted on. Murmurs filled the room. People were pissed. When the vote came, it wasn't even close. 82% voted to dissolve the current board. Madeline stood there, red-faced, trembling, gripping her clipboard like it could save her. "You'll regret this. You think you can run this place without me." I stood, calm and steady. "We're not trying to run it without you. We're trying to fix what you broke." She left without another word. 3 days later, the city installed a new sign: "By the lake, fishing permitted for all Sycamore Hills residents." Last Saturday, I sat on my dock as the sun broke over the trees, line in the water, thermos in hand. A father and his daughter walked up, nervous. "Are we allowed to fish here now?" I smiled and handed her a spare rod. "Absolutely. This lake belongs to all of us, and I made damn sure it stays that way."